So I'll try to present you some global best practice in agrivoltaics. In fact, it's difficult to define global best practice because, in fact, good practice in a region can be bad practice in another region. So for each project, you have to think what would be the best thing to do to have a good crop production with agrivoltaics. For instance, agrivoltaics could help to save waters, but if you increase humidity, it could be bad for plant illness. So as you see, there is a lot of parameters to take into account, and it could be difficult to define global best practice. I use the word agrivoltaic, but in fact, you could find a lot of words to define the same things, so you can use the one you prefer. There are several types of agrivoltaic systems. I will focus on open field system, but you can also find greenhouse or system for shrimps, seafoods or seaweeds. The reference publication is shown at the end of this slide. It's an excellent start if you want to develop your own project. This picture shows you the first prototype built in Japan. So it's very simple system, but it seems to be efficient. The shielding rate is around 30%, and it's a standard value for most of the agrivoltaic system. This prototype was built in 2004. The goal was to achieve a synergy between photovoltaic system and crops. Akira Nagashima pushed to promote agrivoltaic system in Japan, and in 2013, agrivoltaics was officially recognized. Farmers can build agrivoltaic system above farmlands under conditions. Conversions permissions is valid for 3 years, and the crop production has to be above 80% of the annual region's average. In 2018, more than 1,000 agrivoltaic systems has been built in Japan. This one is a recent system. You can see the thin photovoltaic panels. In Japan, manufacturer builds these special panels for agrivoltaic system. In Japan, income from farming alone is insufficient. It results in a shortage of farmers and abandoned farmlands. Agrivoltaics could be a solution to maintain farmers and revive abandoned farmlands. To understand Japan policy, it is important to note that the role of farmers is not only the current crop production, but also to maintain agricultural areas for the future. You have here a list of main crops under agrivoltaic system in Japan. You can find a lot of agrivoltaic system configurations in Japan. The standard installation is a small system led by a local farmer. The main shielding rate is around 30%. There is also a project with 15%, but the shielding can reach 100% for mushrooms. Local organizations help farmers for installation and to adapt its cultural practice. Japan is a good example of development of agrivoltaics. Indeed, agrivoltaics propose a solution for well-identified problem in Japan. Farmers control their own project. The development is supervised by the public institutions, and there are local networks of users to exchange good practice and learn cultural practice. Now I will present you some example of system you can find in Japan. So this one is a agrivoltaic system using flat panels. As many of the agrivoltaic system in Japan, it is isolated in agricultural area. Here, a standard system above rice with standard panel. This one is an experimental system with flooding panels to switch from a shielding of 25% to 50%. So you can maximize the sun during plant growing and maximize the photovoltaic production after growing. And this one is a 3D tracking system above crops. Agrivoltaic system can be used in isolated regions to power pumps. It provides decentralized irrigation systems, often better and cleaner than diesel systems. A Japan light system can be used for a village or cooperative to improve the irrigation system, which improves the crop production and release free times for workers. Instead of irrigation, an agrivoltaic system could power a cold storage system. Indeed, in developing countries, post-harvest storage is one of the largest sources of food losses. Cold storage in off-grid regions will be a real progress for local communities. My favorite application of agrivoltaic system is the fight against desertification. In USA, studies of crop growing under solar panels in arid regions are conducted. They monitor microclimatic conditions to understand the effect of the panel. They obtain promising results with experimental prototypes. In China, they already use agrivoltaic system in desert regions. And this picture is the Gobi Desert. The shadowing saves waters and protects plants and farmers. China shows interesting results in controlling desertification in the Gobi Desert. Now we are in the Kubuki Desert. A major desert conversion project has been conducted since the 80s. The goal is to convert sand to arable lands, to produce energy and to reduce poverty in local communities. This project has been praised by the United Nations Environment Programme. The Kubuki project is a very big project and agrivoltaics is only a small part of this project. There are a lot of projects worldwide. We obtain promising results for arid regions and isolated locations. In temperate regions, it's more difficult to plan a good agrivoltaic project because you can face some production loss. Each agrivoltaic project is unique. The context, the goal of the project, the climate, everything is different. But in any case, agriculture must be the priority. You should always ask yourself, what would my crop production be if I don't install solar panels? It's not only the current crop production, but the production in 10 years and 20 years for the future. Thank you for your attention.